Hello friends, today we are going to start with Unit 3. In Unit 3, there are 3 chapters that we are going to see. The first one is game playing, wherein we are going to see how AI system involves in playing games with humans, how games are played using AI. The second chapter is on planning, which discusses what is planning and why planning is required in AI. Third chapter is on natural language processing, wherein the students are going to learn how the computers, how the AI systems understand the natural languages and how new facts can be inferred from the old facts. Okay, we have already seen resolution and those kind of algorithms in the past. Here, we are going to see that part of AI which enables the machine to understand the meaning of the English sentence or any natural language sentence. Okay, so today we are going to start with the first chapter, that is on game playing. In this particular chapter, we are going to discuss two important aspects. First of all, game playing tree, that is called as min max tree, we are going to see. Then we are going to see min max algorithm that works on game tree. The algorithm helps in playing games by computing values. Okay, and then we will see what is tree pruning. Okay, cutting the branches of the tree, why it is required, and then we will see the algorithm which is called as alpha beta pruning that will help you to do the pruning of the tree. Okay, so let us begin. Okay, now what is game playing? Okay, basically when you play a game like tic-tac-toe, or for that matter when you play game like a chess, okay, there are two players which are involved in the game, right? And let us call the first player as player 1 and the second player as player 2. Player 1, his aim is to maximize his probability of success. Okay, so if you happen to consider this as a ladder of success, okay, this is 100% success, this is 0% success. Player 1's aim, his aim is to climb the ladder of success. So from 0%, his aim is to maximize the probability of its success. Whereas what is the aim of player 2? Player 2, his aim is to minimize the probability of success of player 1. So as you are climbing on top of the ladder, he will try to pull you down. Okay, the player 2's aim is to pull you down. So as player move comes down and down and down, and the moment player 1 reaches 0% or 0, it means player 1 has lost. 100, this is success, this is loss. So player 2's aim is what? To pull you down the ladder. Okay, to minimize the probability of success of player 1, right? And that's why this player 1, who always aims to maximize his own probability of success, he is called as a max player. Whereas player 2, whose aim is to minimize probability of success of player 1, okay, his aim is to pull you down, and his aim is to pull yourself on top, okay, toward the success. So player 2 is called as mean player. Yes. So this is an example of a two-player game tree. Okay. As you can see, whenever we play game, the game is basically played in turns. Consider the tic-tac-toe problem, simple tic-tac-toe problem. Initially, we have 9 vacant blocks. Now player 1 has how many possible moves? We have already seen player 1 has altogether 9 possible moves. Now whatever move that player 1 makes, okay, whatever move that player 1 makes and so on, for that move again player 2 will have his set of moves to counter his strategy. So basically whenever a game is played in turns, every level a different player's turn it will be. For example, here at node A, okay, at node A, it is the max player or player 1 who is supposed to play, and player 1 here realizes that there are three options that he can make. Either he can make a move so that the state changes to B, or he can choose a rule or operator that can take him to state C, or he can choose a rule that takes him to the state D. So for the first player, player 1, there are three possible moves. Assume that player 1 chooses this particular move. Then when it chooses this particular move, now it is the time, or now it is the turn of mean player. So from here, the mean player is going to find out what are the possible moves that he can make. So player 2, that is mean player, now realizes that from this particular state there are three possible moves. Similarly, suppose player 1 in the previous turn had not opted for this B, but suppose he had opted for this C, right? Then in the next turn, mean player at C will realize that he has two options that he can choose, and accordingly he will choose the options. Similarly for D. So basically a two-ply game tree. It is called as two-ply because the game is played in turns of two, max and min. Okay, so this particular tree is called as a game tree. Now notice that there are some values which are written here. You will find the values which are linked with only the leaf nodes and not any of the intermediate nodes nor with the root node. The values are associated only with the leaf nodes. Okay, what are these values? So these values are calculated using static evaluation function. Okay, a static evaluation function that returns values ranging from, for example, say -10 to 10. Okay, now what are these values? These values actually tell you the goodness of that particular node, how good that node is from the standpoint of player 1, right? So 10 means player 1 wins and player 2 loses. It's very simple that when player 1 he moves the ladder of success, the moment player 1 reaches here, obviously player 2 is lost. So player 2's aim is what? To pull him down the ladder, and if player 2 is able to move or take the player 1 down till this 0, then player 1 is lost and player 2 is won the game, right? So to consider those numerical values, we have used this static evaluation function, and it returns the values ranging from 10 to -10. So the value 10, the moment you get to a node with value 10, it means player 1 wins and obviously player 2 loses. If 0 is attained, that means neither player 1 nor player 2 wins, so it's a draw condition. And if the value is -10, that means player 2 wins and player 1 loses. Okay, so this is basically a game tree. So next we are going to see what is the procedure or how this particular game can be played. Okay. So to traverse this game tree or two-ply tree, okay, we also call this tree as min-max tree. We use a procedure or an algorithm which is called as minimax algorithm or min-max algorithm. Okay. Now what is this algorithm? It is depth first, depth limited procedure. So it is basically a depth first search. It's not a breadth first search. It's a depth first search. And depth limited meaning, as you know in chess, okay, as you go on playing, okay, and suppose you reach something called as blind alley that we had discussed, okay, you are going to infinitely go into that particular loop and you will never reach the solution. So that time depth limit is required. So suppose you have reached a particular depth and yet you have not obtained the solution, then you have to quit the game and restart the game. So basically this min-max algorithm that we are going to see now, the procedure, it's a depth first and depth limited procedure. Now I will just explain you the algorithm. I will not show you the algorithm because this algorithm you will find on my handwritten notes which I will share on WhatsApp. Okay. So basically this algorithm it relies on these following procedures or functions. The first function is called as moveGen, which takes two parameters, position and player. Okay. So what moveGen function does, it returns a list of nodes representing the moves that can be made by player in the position. For example, initially suppose you are at A. Okay, initially player 1 or max player is at state A, configuration A. So the moveGen function will be applied to this particular by the max player, okay, where position will be A and player is max. What moveGen will do? It will find out, or it will give the list of nodes, okay, which are the possible list of nodes which are nothing but the moves that can be made by this player 1. So moveGen then realizes or it returns list consisting of B, C and D. That means from A, max player can either make move B, or he can make move C, or he can make move D. So B, C, D will be returned by moveGen function. And the input to this function is what? The position. What is the current position? It is A. And player. Who is the current player? It's a max player's move. So max. Right? Then once the possible moves are generated, what is more important is, now which move should I make? Should I take this particular move? Should I take this particular move? Or should I take this particular move? So for that, what is very important is there should be some numerical value that should be associated with these nodes that will find out, or that will tell you the goodness of that node with respect to that particular player, which will maximize his probability of success. And suppose it is min player, which will minimize the probability of success of player 1 or max player. So that max min player will win. Okay. So to give the goodness of the nodes, the numerical values are given by the second function, which is called as static function. So static function, it again takes the same parameters as moveGen function, position, comma player. Position is the current position and player is which player it is. Okay. And what static function does? The static evaluation function, it returns a number, a numerical value representing the goodness of that position from the standpoint of that player. So if you can see, after static functions applied on these nodes, you get values like this: 2, -4, 6. So this 2 means if max player chooses this node B, the goodness or the advantage that he is going to get is 2, right? Whereas if he chooses C, the advantage that he gets is -4, and if he chooses D, then the advantage that he is going to get is 6. Now since he is a max player, his aim is to choose the node that gives maximum possibility of each success. So it should be the maximum positive number from max player's side. So 2, -4 and 6. Which node will he choose? He will definitely choose D, because it gives the maximum probability of its success. Remember, whenever you say probability of success, it will be the most positive value. It will go towards the bigger positive value. Okay. From the standpoint of min player, his aim is to minimize. So he will definitely choose the minimum value. Right? The max player will always choose from the existing nodes the maximum value. Okay. Whereas the min player, later on, suppose we are continuing the play, then if it is min player's turn, his aim will be to choose the node with minimum value. Okay. Now, so as these things are done, so what max player will do is, definitely at this point he will choose this particular node, and then min player will have to start from here. So again, moveGen function will be applied by min player at this particular node, and suppose, example, he realizes that there are 2 more nodes from here, say E and F. Okay, so this is max player's turn. Now that min player is going to play. Okay, he realizes that there are 2 nodes, E and F, right? Then the static evaluation function will be called, that will do what? With respect to the position, that is D, and player, that is min, it is going to find out the value. Suppose E has value -8 and F has value 4. So since he is a min player, his aim is to choose that node with the minimum value of evaluation function. So definitely he is going to choose -8 and not 4. So min player here will choose -8. Right? One thing you understand, that as the max or min player, as they are going to go on proceeding, okay, as they choose a particular node with a value, that value has to be backed up to its parent. So initially when max player played and chose node 6, the value that backed up to A was 6. That means if this particular node is chosen, then max player gets advantage of 6. Now that min player had chosen -8, the value that is backed up at D will be minus 8. Right? Value that is backed up at D will be minus 8. And now max player here will realize that array I had chosen this particular node, but now it gives me disadvantage of minus 8. It gives me loss of 8 units. Okay, so that means once the mean player has played, it turns out to the max player that the move that he had made initially is a wrong move, because minus 8, minus 4 and 2, definitely 2 is better than these values. So now he realizes that he should have chosen this particular node and not other nodes. Okay, so the details, even if you have not understood how it works, anyways the algorithm details we are going to see later. I am going to solve an example so that you all understand. Okay, so for now you remember moveGen function. It basically generates the possible moves or possible nodes from the standpoint of a particular player at a particular position. Then once moveGen function is used, then the static function it gives a numerical value to each of the explored nodes. Okay. Then third is deep enough function. Now as this min max procedure it goes on continuing, it has to stop somewhere. So it will either stop if the solution is found. But suppose it goes on in a particular depth, it goes down and down and down. Okay, the players will be annoyed because there is no solution. You're not getting a solution and there is a lot of wastage of time. So what deep enough function does is, with respect to the particular position and with respect to the depth where it is reached, the deep enough function it returns true if the search should be stopped at the current level and false otherwise. So you should configure this maximum depth or threshold. You mean the programmer will have to configure the maximum depth or maximum level to which the game can be played, and every time that a particular move is made, this depth or this level value has to be increased and increased and increased, and if it reaches the threshold, that time a deep enough function is going to return true. That means stop now, don't go further, you terminate the game and maybe you can replay. Fine. So every time that you are going to play a move, you as a max player or the other one as a mean player, every time the level will be increasing by 1 and 1 and 1 and so on. The moment it reaches the threshold which is defined by the programmer, that time deep enough function will return true. The moment this value becomes true, the algorithm tells you to stop, you don't go further, you will not get answer, better you restart the game. So these are the three functions that we are going to use. Okay. Next, also in min-max, this particular function, deep enough function, returns true if the depth parameter exceeds a constant cutoff value. Now this constant cutoff value, as I have told you, this the programmer will have to define, and that has to be defined experimentally. Programmer will have to himself play the games n number of times and find out what is that maximum depth that you can define, beyond which it is fruitless in playing the game. Okay, so these are the functions that we are going to use. Next, we are going to now see what are the different ways or how this min-max game tree can be evaluated, how we can play the game. Okay. Okay, so here in the example of min-max game tree, as you can see, A has child nodes B, C, D. B further is expanded to F, E, F, G, H, I, J and K. And these are the static evaluation function values that are given to the leaf nodes. Okay, what we have done is we have assumed the static evaluation function returning the values ranging from minus 10 to 10. Okay, so as you know, 10, that's maximum value, 10, positive number. It means if you reach 10, it means max player has won and min player has lost. If it goes to minus 10, okay, towards minus 10, it means the min player has won and max player has lost. And if it is 0, it's a draw condition. Fine. So how are we going to play this particular game? Okay, so initially when you are at root node, and I told you it is a depth first algorithm. Okay, so it is going to go in a depth wise, right? So we are at A, and here it is max player's turn. Max player's aim is to maximize the probability of success. So out of given options, he will choose that node which has the maximum value. Remember this. Out of the given options, the max player is going to choose the maximum node with the maximum value. This is what he is going to choose, right? So I will stop my discussion over here. Okay. In my next video, let us solve this min-max game. Okay, I will show an example. Maybe I can take up the same example and I will show this min-max game. Thank you.